Now from the 1776 News Desk, here's Glenn Baston.
This story of the signing of the Declaration of Independence continues to develop. Let's get some more reaction now to the entire idea of declaring independence. Here's Jim Ferguson.
We're on the streets of Louisville speaking to various people at random about this alleged signing of the Declaration of Independence. Sir, may I have your name?
My name is Sam Gifford.
What do you think it's going to mean to you if they have signed it or do sign it?
Well, I think it's going to mean the beginning of something that's pretty hard to foretell. We're struggling pretty hard right now.
There have been quite a few skirmishes in the past 3 or 4 years with the British already, and
we've had great problems, and one of the problems is trying to get everybody to think along the same lines, and we have some fine leaders, but even the leaders disagree as to what the ultimate Declaration of Independence should contain. And it seems to me that unless there is pretty much unanimous agreement, it's going to be very difficult to get anything off the ground.
Right now, if it is signed, it's kind of treasonous almost.
Well, that's why we're here in the first place. The chance was taken when we left to come over here, and I don't see any reason why we should be afraid of that now. The decision was made a long time ago, and it's important for us to go ahead and follow through with the plans and the ideas that we had originally.
So if the Declaration of Independence indeed has been signed today, you would be in favor of it?
Absolutely.
That was Jim Ferguson on the streets of Louisville talking to some Louisvillians about this reported document that concerns independence, a Declaration of Independence. The story continues to develop. We'll stay with it. You stay with us. This is Glenn Baston at the 1776 News Desk.
Can you feel the spirit of 200 years ago? The spirit that is lifting up the land.
Now from the 1776 News Desk, here's Glenn Baston.
We have on the line at this time Benjamin Franklin of Pennsylvania. Mr. Franklin, you were on the committee that was appointed to draft this Declaration of Independence, along with Thomas Jefferson of Virginia, John Adams of Massachusetts, Roger Sherman of Connecticut, and Robert Livingston of New York. What was the thinking of the committee when they were drafting it?
Well, I believe that, first of all, probably it was one of the few times in history that people in the military and political area of life got together and really felt the same way, and we were trying to establish guidelines for the whole country, for a new nation, and we're trying to do this with fairness as we saw it, and something that would really be important to them all their lives and important to the future generations. We weren't as much concerned with just the moment as we were, I believe, with the generations which will follow. This land is going to develop. It's going to be, we think, a huge land, and we want something that will be effective, not just today, but tomorrow as well. You know, actually, the franchise is the common right of free men, the right to vote, you see. It's really his only expression. It's one time a right, a privilege, and a weapon. In this case, it was a weapon, too, because we actually had to fight off tyranny and oppression. We have fought hard to establish ourselves, and now we have proven that we can do it.
That was Benjamin Franklin, one of the 5 men who served on the committee that drafted this Declaration of Independence. I'm Glenn Baston at the 1776 News Desk.
Can you feel the spirit of 200 years ago? The spirit that is lifting up the land.
Now from the 1776 News Desk, here's Glenn Baston.
This story of the signing of the Declaration of Independence continues to develop. Let's get some more reaction now to the entire idea of declaring independence. Here's Jim Ferguson.
We're on the streets of Louisville speaking to various people at random concerning this alleged signing of the Declaration of Independence today. Sir, may I have your name?
I'm Bob Carhart.
Bob, what do you think about this signing of the Declaration of Independence?
I think it's going to be pretty good for everybody.
Have you heard about the Declaration?
Yeah, I'm very interested in it, as a matter of fact. Been following the goings-on fairly closely.
What aspects of the Declaration interest you, or you find interesting?
I think that the fact that we're going to consider each person on an equal basis, men, women, black, white, I think that concerns me most of all. I have great faith that the future holds things that we'll probably break away and become our own man, so to speak.
Are you saying that you might be actively involved in this thing?
Yes, but on an undercover basis.
That was Jim Ferguson on the streets of Louisville talking to some Louisvillians about this reported document that concerns independence, a Declaration of Independence. The story continues to develop. We'll stay with it. You stay with us. This is Glenn Baston at the 1776 News Desk.
Can you feel the spirit of 200 years ago? The spirit that is lifting up the land.
Now from the 1776 News Desk, here's Glenn Baston.
In trying to get some perspective of what has prompted this Declaration of Independence, there has been some turmoil, particularly in the Boston area over the past few years, as some have defied the decrees of King George. One of the leaders of these activities has been Samuel Adams. Mr. Adams is on the line now. And Mr. Adams, you have been called a radical.
My response to that is that whenever anyone does anything which is unpopular to a group, especially in this case a group of oppressors, they are called radicals. Well, I'm fighting for a cause I'm proud of, and if that makes me a radical, then I'm proud of that too, and I'll continue to be a radical. I want to be a thorn in their side as long as I live, because it's time somebody spoke out against them, and I'm speaking out against them at every opportunity on street corners and everywhere else. I lead any movement I can which is against the British, against oppression, taxation, and the taking away of the freedom of man.
You were involved with what's been called the Boston Massacre.
Yes, of course. I was a part of it. I'm proud to have been a part of it. I'm sorry about the men who lost their lives, but I must say this, they laid down their lives willingly. They knew what was going to happen, or at least they felt it was a strong possibility, and we did that to let the world see the kind of people we were dealing with.
Well, thank you, Mr. Adams, for talking with us. That was Samuel Adams, who incidentally is a relative of John Adams, one of the men who is involved in the drafting of this Declaration of Independence. This is Glenn Baston at the 1776 News Desk.
Can you feel the spirit?
Now from the 1776 News Desk, here's Glenn Baston.
We're still watching events in Philadelphia, waiting for some word out of the Congress on the possible signing of a Declaration of Independence from Great Britain. Our man Jim Ferguson continues to get reaction on the streets of Louisville to the reports we've had so far. Let's check in with him again. Jim?
We're on the riverfront Belvedere, and I'm speaking with
Yvonne Gardner.
Yvonne. What do you think about this signing of the Declaration of Independence today?
I think it's about time it should happen
Why?
because we've been dependent on the mother country for so long. And
Jim, I'm sorry. I'm going to have to interrupt you right now and go to Philadelphia. Melanie Roberts is there, and she is on the line with us at this moment.
Glenn, the Congress has adjourned and the members have left the chamber. However, all have refused to comment. There are some indications, though, that they may have indeed signed a Declaration of Independence. Those members known to be favoring the document, Jefferson, Franklin, and the like, seem to be in a rather jubilant mood. And I got a look at the vote totaling board before the doors to the chamber were closed and locked. It showed a unanimous vote by the colonies on something. And one other thing, you may hear a bell in the background. Well, a few minutes ago, the bell atop the building where Congress meets began ringing. Now, this normally is reserved for some special message or warning. When I asked one of the members of Congress about the bell, he said you might call it the Liberty Bell.
Can you feel the spirit?
Now from the 1776 News Desk, here's Glenn Baston.
Well, as we reported earlier, a Declaration of Independence has been signed in Philadelphia. Louisville Mayor Harvey Sloan, who has been tied up with some problems of his own in this city throughout this week, took time out a little while ago to hold a news conference to talk about the signing.
Now, about 13 colonies have accepted the idea that they are now on their own. Benjamin Franklin has said that, and I quote, The franchise, meaning the vote, is the common right of free men. My hope is that the Declaration will pave the way for greater participation of Americans, men and women, young and old, black and white, in their new government. We declared our independence in order to promote freedom and democracy.
That was Louisville Mayor Harvey Sloan. We've had reports out of Philadelphia that there have been bells ringing throughout that city. This is normally reserved for some sort of warning, but we understand that there has been no problem. It could have been connected with the signing of the Declaration of Independence. This is Glenn Baston at the 1776 News Desk.
Can you feel the spirit of 200 years ago? The spirit that is lifting up the land. Can you feel the spirit? Yes, I feel the spirit.
Now from the 1776 News Desk, here's Glenn Baston.
Well, we thank you for having joined us this July 4th. Indeed, our Declaration of Independence has been signed, and its effects are being felt more today than ever before. Let us be extremely thankful for July 4th, 1776. This is Glenn Baston at the 1776 News Desk.
We hold these truths to be self-evident.
Perhaps an historic event in Philadelphia today.
Created equal.
King's got a long arm, and King's liable to come over here and lean on us before this thing's over with.
That it was indeed Representative Thomas Jefferson who did the primary drafting of the document.
Of happiness.
I don't know, this guy Jefferson might be president someday if they have things going right. It could be the king of America too, I guess.
Deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed.
I think it's about time it should happen.
Whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends,
I am struck by the audacity of it all.
people to alter or to abolish it.
Benjamin Franklin said, we'll all hang together or we'll hang separately.
We therefore, the representatives of the United States of America,
the Army will finally be supported in the way it needs to be if the American people want to be free.
Intentions.
They feel now that perhaps the whole country is becoming united.
These united colonies are, and
our very lives might be at stake.
Independent states.
I've been working with the women in getting the supplies together.
The connection between them and the state of Great Britain is...
It's going to give us something to look to. It's going to give us a foundation.
They have full power to levy war.
I suspect that sometime there is a necessity for a call to arms.
Other acts and things. It's important for us to go ahead and follow through with the plans and the ideas that we had originally. Firm reliance on the protection of divine providence. We mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor.